Have you paid to fix your rubber roof and it's still leaking? Well, the most common mistake in the industry is contractors will take silicone to that transition point where the rubber meets one another, and it works temporarily. However, over time, very quickly, that silicone will break down, which will allow that area to become a problem and a vulnerability. The right way to go about addressing these areas is what's called seam tape. This seam tape has an adhesive on the bottom and on the top of it. Ultimately, this seam tape is applied where that rubber meets into one another and they lay on one another. That is the right way to go about it. This is how we're going to go by installing seam tape. We must first have primer to properly install it to the rubber roof. Then we must have the other section where the seam is going to transition to lift it up in order to properly install the primer. Then I am going to go ahead and properly blend in the primer into the rubber roof area. As you can see, the primer will be a little bit lighter in color compared to the rest of the rubber roofing system. And this primer we're going to install so really where this top rubber is going to meet into this bottom layer rubber roofing system. Now we've gone ahead and put the primer on our new rubber roofing system on that seam there. Make sure you try to get all the areas in there and not miss any points so you don't have any vulnerabilities in the future. We now have installed the seam tape. That seam tape has been installed on one side of the rubber roof. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and roll the top layer of the rubber roofing system right on top of that. Before I take off my plastic film on this seam tape, I want to confirm that everything is sealed down properly on the remainder of the roof, and then I will continue off and take off my plastic film. Here we have two pieces of rubber. Here is our seam. As you can see, nothing is getting underneath there. Snow, rain, we will not have any issues. That is how you properly address a seam on a rubber roofing system.